Today, we're going to talk about acceptable and non-acceptable liquids during intermittent fasting. This is a very important topic because so many people make mistakes while fasting. It is much better to learn from the experience of others than to spend months or even years figuring it out on your own. So, I'll show you exactly how to do this based on years of experience with others and myself. A true fast is really nothing but water, no food, just water. That's a true fast. The problem is that most people today have far fewer stored nutrients than people did even 20 years ago. Because of that, you are more likely to experience side effects and problems if you don't enhance your fast with certain nutrients. On the other hand, there are also drinks that can completely nullify the benefits of fasting. When we talk about breaking a fast or interfering with ketosis and autophagy, the process where your body recycles old proteins and creates new ones, the main factor is insulin. The whole purpose of fasting is to lower insulin as much as possible. Anything that spikes insulin will undo the benefits of fasting. However, pure fat does not trigger insulin, and fiber also does not trigger insulin. But keep in mind that if you consume dietary fat during fasting, your body will burn that fat first instead of your own body fat. You'll remain in ketosis, but the ketones are coming from the dietary fat, not your stored fat. This is why you may not lose weight if you consume pure fat during a fast. It won't bump you out of ketosis, but it can block fat loss. Let's go through the drinks one by one. First, water. This is absolutely acceptable. But there's good water and bad water. Tap water is loaded with chemicals, plastics, and even hormones. If you can, get a filter. Even something like a Brita is better than nothing. Personally, I use a filter that removes fluoride because fluoride can affect your thyroid. It can even create skin issues like rashes, especially when absorbed through shower water. You can use a simple shower head attachment to remove fluoride. Spring water is excellent, and bottled mineral water like Pellegrino is also great. It's naturally carbonated and rich in minerals. I personally like carbonated water, so I use a machine that pumps CO into water to make it fizzy. In general, water will not bump you out of ketosis. But if you're prone to kidney stones, make sure to drink at least 2.5 liters of fluid daily to protect yourself. Next, apple cider vinegar. This is definitely a yes. Apple cider vinegar helps regulate blood sugar, supports digestion, improves your microbiome, and enhances mineral absorption. It can even boost your energy. I recommend 1 tablespoon in water a few times a day. Timing doesn't matter much, just try it and see how you feel. Some people use a straw to protect their tooth enamel, which is a good idea. Lemon juice and water is also a yes. Lemon juice contains citrates, which inhibit oxalates, lowering your risk of kidney stones. Fresh lemon juice has vitamin C, but concentrated or pasteurized lemon juice does not. The real benefit is not the vitamin C but the citrate effect. Lemon juice also supports the liver, gallbladder, and contains beneficial phytonutrients. Diet sodas, however, are a no. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame can damage your microbiome, indirectly affect insulin, and lead to insulin resistance, which may cause weight gain. If the soda is sweetened with stevia, monk fruit, or erythritol, that's fine. What about coffee? Black coffee is acceptable. It won't bump you out of fasting. The issue is caffeine. Too much caffeine can disrupt your sleep, raise cortisol, and slow weight loss. I recommend limiting yourself to 1 small cup in the morning. Organic coffee is best because coffee beans are heavily sprayed with pesticides. Bulletproof coffee is another question. Adding butter or MCT oil will not bump you out of ketosis, but it can prevent weight loss, especially if you have a slow metabolism. However, in the beginning of fasting, bulletproof coffee can be helpful because it allows you to go longer without eating and provides ketones for the brain, which can boost focus, memory, and concentration. Later, if weight loss stalls, I suggest cutting out the added fats and switching to plain black coffee or just a small amount of cream. Speaking of cream, half and half versus whole cream, half and half has about 1.6 grams of carbs per 2 tablespoons, while whole cream has 0. I recommend using whole cream. It's a small detail, but it can make a difference if you're being strict. Non-dairy creamers, however, are filled with chemicals and should be avoided entirely. Bone broth contains protein, about 5 grams per cup, which is not good during fasting. Protein will definitely break your fast, so bone broth is a no. Tea, on the other hand, is excellent. Green tea and herbal teas contain phytonutrients that support metabolism, blood sugar, liver function, and even have anti-cancer properties. They also provide antioxidants. Just be mindful of caffeine content as it can affect sleep. Coconut water is not acceptable because it contains a lot of sugar, about 11 to 16 grams per serving. It might hydrate you, but it comes with too much sugar, which will nullify fasting benefits. Coconut milk, however, can be acceptable depending on the brand. Some brands, like Silk, have as little as 1 gram of carbs per serving, making it a possible option. Pre-workout powders and branched-chain amino acids are not recommended. These are proteins, and even though they're incomplete, they still break fasting. They'll bump you out of ketosis, fat burning, and autophagy. If you need something during workouts, stick to plain electrolytes with no sugar. Alcohol is another no. Even carb-free alcohol will stress the liver, interfere with fasting, and reduce autophagy. It's not helpful for fat loss or health. Milk is also not keto-friendly. 1 cup contains around 12 grams of carbs with no fiber, which is far too much. Butter, cream, or half and half are much better options. Electrolytes, however, are very important. Just make sure they don't contain sugar or maltodextrin. If sweetened with stevia or monk fruit, they're fine. Electrolytes, along with nutrients like B vitamins, vitamin D, and omega-3 fatty acids, can make fasting much smoother by preventing weakness, dizziness, or fatigue. So that's the fasting drink list. If you want to know more about which supplements to take while fasting, I recommend checking out my detailed guide on that topic.